everyone, it's Mich here and welcome to my channel. Today is going to be another collage with Mich. So if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping in, and I hope you do come back for more. You can get, I can email you this if you're interested in collaging along, or we do have a Facebook group called Mich Crafty Community, Mich Crafty Community. The details will be in the description box below, and it's a free file on that page. And also on the Facebook page, we can share all our creations. You can use any kind of style or background that you'd like for your collage. So there's some people using index cards and flashcards. I'm using a number of different ways. So I'll be using Memorydex, I'll be doing something on the Rolodex, and I'll also be doing a postcard to send out to one of you guys. So we are on week 12. We started this on April the 13th. And I also just want to welcome my crafty friends and kindred spirits. It's so good to have you back with me today. And the prompt, or the word is ride, and the prompt is, well, I put envelope, but you can use envelope or envelope. It doesn't matter. Technically, an envelope does envelop the paper. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just show you a couple examples that I've done on the Rolodex, and all the tutorials are in the playlist. I believe it's Rolodex Challenge, maybe. On my channel. So there's just a few of the little Rolodex cards, and then with the Memorydex, a couple of these, and I don't know exactly which weeks, but I initially started that I wanted to do the Rolodex because I've had a Rolodex for a long time, and then when I was looking at some ideas, I kept seeing the Memorydex. And I couldn't find a Heidi Swap Rolla, the spinner. So I just found a die cut set, actually for my Cricut, and I cut that out. And then I have a punch. But to be honest, I'm not sold on the spinner because sometimes they just don't stay on very well. Okay, so I'm going to do the Memorydex first. So I have an envelope that I just found in my stash. You can make one or draw one. And then I wanted to use this bicycle that I've had for a while. And these little flowers were in a little, some Happy Mail that came from Chris. So thank you so much, Chris. I'm going to use those today. And then I am just going to use some little gems to highlight it. And my little saying for this is, life is a beautiful ride. So first thing I thought I would do is I just want to cut a little slit in this envelope, like so that it kind of opens up a little bit. And then I thought I would put the envelope sort of at an angle, and then the bicycle. I'm not going to do any other stamping. And then I'm thinking that maybe one of these smaller flowers, we'll put this kind of there and this at the bottom. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that layout. So I'm going to get the envelope down. And for right now, because I want to leave a pocket in the envelope, I'm only going to do part of the side, this side, and along the bottom, and a little bit up this side. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that at a bit of an angle, like so. I don't want it too high or it won't spin around the spinner, but I don't want it, well, actually it doesn't matter if it's a little bit low. Okay, and then let's get the bicycle roughly where we want it. So I want it about there. So I'm just going to tack down the front tire so that it stays a little bit in place, because that's going to go right. It's going to be like the road, but I don't want it too close to the holes or it's going to get chopped off. So let's just trim this a little bit. Life is a beautiful ride. Yes, it does have its downturns sometimes. But I think there's a lot of beauty in the world to be seen, even when we're struggling. Okay, and then I just want to get this kind of there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And then I'm thinking this big flower can go there, like so. And then this one can tuck inside there, like that. So it's kind of coming out of the envelope. I think I will glue the top part down. Yeah, and then we'll put the big one there, and then we'll have like a little one there. And I think those colors just match the whole thing so beautifully. And again, you don't have to, spend a lot of time and just look around your stash and use what you have in your stash. I've had that bicycle. It was a ephemera little kit I've had for quite a long time. And when I was going through my stash looking for ideas, I stumbled upon the bike. So then I just thought, oh, that would be cool. It's not, I guess maybe not that original, ride a bike, but okay. And then the only center I can really see is that, but there's some little flowers there. So I thought that, I really I couldn't decide whether I wanted the pearls, because I really love the pearls, but I like this. So I could put some of the little pearls on the bicycle ones. So we can have some little white centers there. It's still early. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. It's Sunday. So this will come out on Wednesday. It's hard to get ahead on. I do 3 videos. Now I didn't have a Daphne's Diary for this Friday that just went by. I haven't had my new Daphne's Diary yet, and I don't know, I was just running out of ideas. So do we like the little things in there, or I'm thinking that I don't really like those. Let's see if we can change it up, and I think I'll go with one of my favorite little accents, and that is the little rivets. And I was really lucky that Valentina sent me some extras because I'm running low. So thank you, Valentina. Let me get that off. So these are what I call my little rivets. And I love using these. They're great little accents. They come in a strip, so if you want to use just one at a time, you do have to kind of take some little scissors and cut them. But I think they just add, yeah, I like that better. They're little, so they don't kind of overpower your page. And they just add that little bit of shininess. Yeah, that's better. And I think actually I'm going to put just maybe a few down below there. So I'm just going to do maybe 4, I think, and just cut off, or 5, 4. And then I'm just going to use my tweezers for these ones and pull that off if I can. Maybe I'll go back to the picky tool. There we go. And then I'm just going to put those there, and then that one's finished. Easy peasy. So then the next one I'm going to work on is the postcard. So with the postcard, I really can't add too much dimensional onto it because it's going to get stuck in the mail. So I've already gone ahead and just found some scrap paper that had some writing on it. And then I found, I cut another piece of paper that was exactly the size of my postcard, which is 4x6. And then I just cut it on the diagonal. And I'm just going to use that. Now, I would have to get another piece if I was going to do it exactly because, you know, you need to flip a piece over. But I didn't want to waste another piece of paper. So I'm just going to make this work. So I'm going to, for right now, just tack down this bit like so, just to get it stuck in place. And then I'm just going to approximate how that angle should look. So I'm thinking something like, I don't know, something like that to me looks normal. So I'm just going to get this down like so. Okay, and then, oops, I filled up my glue and it's top heavy. So it just, and for now I'm leaving this open in case I do want to tuck something inside. Okay, and then, so I was thinking about ride and what else, you know, and how else I can use that. And then when I was looking through my stash, I saw Ruth, my little Ireland friend, had sent me some little fairies. And I thought, well, the fairies they ride the wind, you know, so I kind of thought this would be, I would just use some of my pet stickers, I guess, and some washies, and just kind of go from there. And my saying is a take on a Yeats poem, and come fairies, I will ride with you upon the wind. I thought that was just really whimsical. So I am going to use that as my saying. And just get that down somewhere there. Okay, so that's my saying. So I kind of looked around to some of my washies, and I wanted to outline the top of the envelope. And I kind of felt this one looked really kind of stylish. That one there. I quite like that one. So I'm going to go with that. I am going to just put a little bit of glue there so that it doesn't come off in the mail. Okay, and I'm only going to go down to right here, like so. And then I'll do this side here, all the way down. And then across the bottom, I thought just to add a little dimension, and I thought that I would also put a little bit of washi. So I pulled out some other washi tapes, and there we go. So I'll trim those other ends here, like so. And I hope everybody's doing well. So like I said, today's Sunday. This will come out on Wednesday. It's Canada Day this week on Tuesday. But instead of, you know, kind of having that long weekend, some of the ones at work took Monday off, but I'm working tomorrow, and then I'll have Tuesday off. And I haven't looked ahead at well, I did look ahead at the forecast, and it looked like rain. So if it's raining, I'm hoping to have a little a little extra crafty day this week, which I'm looking forward to. Oops, and guess what? I did it upside down. So whoever gets this is going to have, just turn your postcard this way instead of this way, because I've actually did it upside down, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so then I thought I would put this one, because it's solid. Just want to layer these up a little bit, and we'll do that one. And then I just wanted to do another, and I was thinking kind of this one, or this one. Yeah, I like this one better. So we'll just layer them up a little bit. All right, so there's our washi. I thought about putting some washi there. I don't think so. If I decide later, I can. All right, so I'm going to have to lift some of these up and just put a little bit of glue. Again, I just don't want it coming up in the mail. Sometimes washi can be kind of finicky of whether it wants to stay down or not. Some washi you can't get up without ripping your paper, and some doesn't stay down very well. But there, so I just put a little bit of glue on the ends. That should hold it. Okay, and then I just thought about, let's decorate. And I went to some of my other stickers too. So I looked through my stash of like the Happy Planner stickers and a couple of the sticker pads I have from Michael's. I could put that across there. No, I like it down here. Okay, so we've got our saying, and then I was thinking that that sticker could go like there, and then I had this one, and then the little fairy can go kind of off to the side. So I was kind of thinking to start like with there. My stomach is rumbly. Okay, so I was thinking let's get this one kind of tucked in there and down there some. Okay, I like that. And there are fireworks. It was fireworks last night. So I was so tired yesterday that around 8 o'clock I was almost falling asleep. My back was bothering me and stuff, so I was kind of sitting in the chair, and I thought, I'm just going to go lay on the couch for a little bit. And I don't usually lay on the couch. Like I usually just sit in the chair, but I thought, yeah, I'm just going to go lay on the couch. And then I did doze off, and I woke up to all these loud bangs and explosions, and I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? And then I realized it was Canada Day fireworks last night, and then I was enjoying. I kind of like fireworks. I didn't go outside to see them, but they were off in the distance, but I could hear them. So then this one is already in the shape of a V, and I thought it doesn't quite work there. So I could cut it in half. Let's see, and then use half there and half over there, possibly. Let's see. So I could put half kind of there up in that corner, and half over there. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, and then I'll just get those cut off. Okay, and then I just wanted to kind of fill that in a little bit. So I did have an idea for across the top there, but I forget what my idea was. So I think it was to put a strip from one of these Happy Planners in there, but I wanted to do another little cluster right here. So I thought that would work. Like so. It's going to be very busy, but I wanted to kind of fill it up with flowers. And then across the top, I was thinking one of these, I guess. Could put the grasses. Oh, here's one. This would go kind of here. Like so. And then I'll just cut this little end here. Okay, so then there's that. And then maybe just a couple more little flowers. If I could find just a little one there, or something we could tuck in there. So if I go back to here, I could put this one coming out of the envelope, or cut it like so. What if I cut it a little bit? Have just that part overlapping. So that's kind of cute. And then just a couple little things up there. Like possibly, there's two of these. Oh no, I like these better. There's these little ones, which I think would work like that. And then there's another one. It's not exactly the same. And then there's that. Okay, well, it's very busy. I'm not sure I like this one, but I doubt I'm going to get it up. Oh, wait. I just find I need this a little bit less than what it is. It's ripping a little bit. Okay. I could just trim. I could just trim this bit off. Like so. And then have the flowers kind of like that. Cut this little bit off here. So there we go. There. I kind of like that better, I think. Okay, so then there's our postcard. It's a little bit busy, but... And then the last thing I wanted to do was my Rolodex. Okay, so with the Rolodex, I was looking through... It might have been Valentina. Valentina sent me some little die-cut pages, but I found an envelope. I'm just going to distress this a little bit more. I just found some background paper instead of a book page, and the images that I have. So my story for this is she's on a grand adventure. So she's sending letters home, and she's on a ship, and she's a female explorer back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, and she has her little journal, it's a little compass, just a little flower I found. And it all fits kind of my overall theme. And my saying is just find a way to ride the wave. So I felt it was kind of a take on being on a ship, but also the metaphor of life. And, you know, sometimes we just have to find a way to get through life sometimes, especially when you have difficulties with loss or health. Sometimes it's hard, very hard to navigate, you know, the rough waves. Okay, so with this one here, I was thinking that before I put the collage down, I'm going to get my words down because, and this is going to be a bit fiddly, I think, I'm going to put just find a way on the very bottom there, because this is such a smaller background or palette. Then if my saying would go right across the whole image, and I didn't want that. Just find a way to ride the wave. I should have put waves, but because it's often not just one wave. To ride the wave. And it's not exactly pretty, but with these ones here, I like it more organic. And okay, so then I thought we'd get the envelope down next. Right like that. And then we'll get her down. But I'm only going to do her side there because I want to tuck. Actually, we'll do the bottom too. Put that down. So I want to tuck that in there, like so. That's her journal. She's writing all about what she sees and what she's seeing and doing. There's a little compass, help find her way. And then I just found, this is just like a little decorative piece that I was going to actually put up there. And then here, I'm going to go back to my little gems. I'll put off to the side here. Get this down. Like so. And going to, I think I'll do a whole row this time. Like, I'm going to do how many? 2, 4, 6. I'm going to do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And get my pokey tool. Pull those up. And I'm going to put that right across the top like so. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to put one in the center of that compass. Get one up. Oops, lost it. Put one right there. And then we could outline around there, but I'm kind of liking how that's looking, so I'm going to stop there. So I hope you did enjoy our little crafty session, our upside down envelope, and or postcard. And if you did, I'd love a like and subscribe if you haven't already. But I do hope that you have a great week, and until we meet again, bye for now.